Well, the iPlex, I'm like, it's a big thing. Oh, stream looks like it might be coming on soon.
Oh, yeah, it's up on... I got it on the TV, but I don't have it on my computer. Now, the club TV is about 30 seconds behind, so I can't go off the TV monitor, but it's good for replays.
I think we might be live. I don't see any video, though.
I don't see video on the computer, and the screen's frozen, so on the TV, on the feed.
Give me a second. I'm going to mute and see if our audio is coming through on the stream.
Okay.
All right, welcome inside the Innovation Credit Union iPlex here in Swift Current, Saskatchewan. You're watching the World Curling Tour on curlingzone.com. And the quarterfinal draw of the 2023 Nutrien Egg Solutions Western Showdown. We're a bit late to the call, but I'm here alongside my broadcast partner, Clayton Wicks. And we have a big quarterfinal matchup between Steve Laycock, the hometown team here in Swift Current, taking on Korey Dropkin of Duluth, Minnesota.
Yeah, right now what we're seeing, Josh, is Dropkin's first stone in the second end to lie 2. First end, it was kind of a a typical end. First rock went up short, Laycock went in, exchanging shots, but in the end, Laycock did get 2 in the first end, and it does look like Dropkin's got a pretty good chance of getting the 2 back right here in 2.
Wonderful. Thanks for catching us up. We, of course, apologize for the technical difficulties, being late to the call, late to the stream. It's been a long week here in Swift Current. Curling Zone's doing a lot to get these games up for us so you guys can watch, and Clayton and I have the pleasure of calling them. We'll take you through the rest of this second end. Then at the top of the third end, we'll run through a little meet the teams for you guys so you know who's out here on the ice playing. Until then, it's Steve Laycock in the hack for his final shot of the second end.
I'm thinking he's looking for a little bit of a roll under that corner if he can.
I think that is the call here. He's going to overcurl a touch here. Just knows it and leave an open hit for Korey Dropkin to get his deuce right back and tie it up at 2. So, although we did miss the opening 2 ends, most of them at least, as long as Korey makes this one here, just think of it as a 6-end curling game you're watching today.
Precisely. I think both teams are feeling each other out a little bit. And from what I've watched so far, nobody sits back and waits for the action. They've been pouring offense the whole week.
Yeah, the Steve Laycock team has had a great week coming out of the B event. 4-1 record going into this game.
And this is Dropkin's 3rd game today since 11 o'clock this morning.
And Dropkin will make that hit and stick, no problem. It's a deuce on the board for the team out of Minnesota. 2-2 when we return, and the team from the Swift Current Curling Club will have the hammer.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Well, what do y'all think? Too blue? Not blue enough? Try this.
Makes your eyes pop.
This could be our best yield yet.
And didn't we get this seed at a great financing rate?
Yeah, we did.
Iced tea?
Great idea.
Let's talk more about next year. I got some thoughts.
And I've got some numbers.
Nutrien Financial. Financing that's in the field with you.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Welcome back inside the iPlex here in Swift Current. You're watching the World Curling Tour on curlingzone.com. And the first playoff draw of the 2023 Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown. You're watching Lead Rocks come down here in the third end. It was Korey Dropkin with a deuce in the second end to nod things up at 2. And it's Steve Laycock with the hammer here in the third. As we are a little late to the call today, we're going to start meeting the teams here as we begin the third end. Starting off with the American team out of the Duluth Curling Club in Duluth, Minnesota. Their lead is Thomas Howell. Their second is Mark Fenner. Their third is Andrew Stopera. Their skip is Korey Dropkin. They currently sit number 12 in the World Curling Tour rankings, and they are the number 1 ranked team in the United States of America. On the other side, throwing the Red Rocks, it's the Steve Laycock team. They're the hometown team this weekend, curling out of the Swift Current Curling Club in Swift Current, Saskatchewan. Their lead is Braden Grinheim. Their second is Chris Heikert. Third, Sean Meacham. And the skip is, of course, the man with 10 Brier appearances in his career, Steve Laycock. His team currently sits number 71 in the World Curling Tour rankings. They're number 35 in Canada, and they are the 7th ranked team in the great province of Saskatchewan. Now we've got that done, we can get into calling the action here. You know who you're watching. And that was a freeze attempt coming up just a touch short by Braden Grinheim.
Yeah, typical end for Laycock when they throw up that center guard. A little bit short, he tucks one around, and everything's been around that center guard ever since.
Mm-hmm. So this will be the first rock of the end from Mark Fenner. Coming down, coming a little tight to that yellow center guard. They're just going to kiss off it. Knock that red a little bit closer to corner frozen on that yellow second shot and roll almost out of play. Not quite. Bit of a miss there, and we've seen it all week. This ice has been a little bit unforgiving. When you're just a little bit light, you could be just a couple feet light, even just a foot light, and it's going to give you that extra foot of curl that you don't want. And that's the way teams have been missing all week. This is Chris Heikert, the second for this Laycock rink. He is the general manager of the Swift Current Curling Club. So if anyone has an advantage thrown on this ice, it's probably him. Although he is going to come up a little bit short here, dropping this one well above the rings. And Korey Dropkin will look to sit on top of that yellow second shot, most likely coming around the out-turn way, almost certainly.
He's debating the head, I believe, Josh. No, he's not.
I think they're just going to sit on top of it. And that will be the call here, I believe. Korey Dropkin's been the top team in the United States for the last couple of years. He burst onto the scene a few years ago here at the Grand Slam of Curling Tour 2 Challenge. At the time, it was the Coyote Tractor Tour Challenge. Winning that one, and then had an A qualification at the Meridian Canadian Open. That was in 2020. And he's going to sit right on top of their beautiful shot there. By Fenner.
I think we'll see Laycock clean up run something in there.
Yeah, it's probably bail time for the team from the Swift Current Curling Club. Here's Chris Heikert's second in this third end of play. We've got all 4 quarterfinals on the men's side on the ice right now. The winner of this game will take on the winner between Yannick Schwaller and Sam Muibrick, as Chris Heikert's barely going to catch a piece of that red guard there.
Yeah, I don't know if that got set out a bit, or I think it may be just the ice with the speed he threw on that one. It's going to stay right where you throw it.
The other two games on the ice, Mike McEwen, another Saskatchewan-based team, taking on Nicholas Adine. And the final quarterfinal matchup between Michael Brunner and Caitlin Schneider, the Regina native, now skipping out of BC. There are also two women's playoff games on the ice this draw. We'll update you with all the games and scores after the fourth end break in our game. Now in the hack, it's Andrew Stopra. Is he looking to get around everything here, Clayton?
Well, I think the call was freeze at the front.
Okay. They're on it early. It's curling a lot here. And I think he's also just going to fall a bit short. And that spot seems to be giving both teams a little bit of trouble this end. Sean Meacham's first is coming up, and he's come down to debate with Steve over what his shot should be.
So Laycock's trip to the quarters was a little easier than Dropkin's. Laycock went win, loss, win, win, win. And Dropkin went loss, win, loss, and then he had to win out.
And do that he did. This is Sean Meacham. I believe his lone Brier appearance came in 2017 with the Adam Casey rink out of the Highland Curling Club in Regina. Since then, he's been skipping his own team out of Swift Current. This one looks like it's coming down a little bit hot. Hiker will try to move it over now. Doesn't look bad. Gonna get it just behind T. It's probably at least half, if not 3/4 open from the hack. Korey Dropkin looking for board weight here. Try and kill this red, and you probably want to roll to the wing. I'm not sure if you can get underneath any of that and mess up front there.
Yeah, doesn't appear to be any hope of an inside roll.
This is Andrew Stopra's last rock here in the third end. It's curling about as much as it will on him. They'll hit it and stick about right there. It's about a rock higher now. Still no real chance of a roll inside, I believe, for Sean Meacham on his second. Looks like they might try the wide out turn draw. Maybe freeze that one a touch on the inside of it. Is the call here for Sean? I didn't see a direct room placement, but seems like the common sense play here. Trying to generate a deuce here. This Laycock team is one that has scored and scored much. They're averaging just under 9 points a game so far in this event. This is their 5th game. They hit 9 points twice so far in this event. This is Grinheim and Heikert on this early. They're going to need to go hard to get this by the top yellow. I don't think
it's going to rub a little, I think.
A little bit of a kiss and roll off. If anything, you wonder if that sets up that thin double, and that's exactly what Korey Dropkin sees. Huge chance for Korey to make this and sit 3.
Yeah, there's not too much that could go wrong there, really, I don't think.
Yeah, you got a good chunk of air there. You got to hit it relatively thin to make it and sit right there. But that's an opportunity gifted by Meacham on his last rock there, and not one this Dropkin team can really pass up. So it's Stoper in the house. Korey Dropkin sets up for his first rock here in the 3rd end. Chance to really put some pressure on this Laycock rink that gave up a relatively soft deuce last end. So here is the skip out of Duluth, Minnesota. His first rock in the 3rd. He's got 1. Nudges the other 2. I don't know if he really moved it far at all. Kissed the top yellow before hitting anything red.
Yeah, definitely not the result he was looking for.
Looks like it will leave Korey sitting 1, though, the Dropkin team. Is a lone Laycock stone in the rings there.
Do you think he can double the 2 yellows out of there?
It's hard to tell how much you can see of that initial one from the hack. It's really tough, but I think job number 1, no doubt, is getting that shooter out of there. If you can hit it, you might be able to even hit it thick enough with soft weight that you can sit somewhere in front of it. You don't need to cover it completely. But I think making a play on that shot rock is probably first job for Steve here. You don't have to kill it, obviously. You don't have to throw anything hard or run anything back, really, with it partially exposed. But I think he'd like the confidence of at least sitting 1. And it's a rock that probably isn't going much of anywhere for the rest of this end.
Right.
Looks like Sean will put the broom down somewhere in the range of a hacker board weight hit here for Steve. It's a long deliberation. Steve Laycock famously made a trip to BC for a few years, curled out of British Columbia, had a couple Brier appearances representing Team BC, played alongside Jim Cotter and that team over there before returning to Saskatchewan in 2021. Played on a similar version of this team last year, but with Braden Stewart throwing the lead stones. Braden Grinheim, of course, graduating from the junior ranks last year with a junior provincial championship, which was won right here in Swift Current. And he took over throwing the lead stones for this Laycock rink. And this will be the first of the third end from Steve Laycock. Might be throwing this a bit heavier than it initially put down. Broom was tightened up. But it does look generally soft. Sweeper's on it early. This is Grindheim and Heikert on the scrub. Just gonna sneak by that yellow in the top 8. Did he kiss off it?
Yeah, just a little bit of a rub.
Just a little rub. I didn't catch that totally on my screen. That's about as close as it gets. Wow. Still made contact. Sits there, but opening the door a bit for Korey Dropkin. He does have the opportunity to push that top yellow that was the rock that Steve just kissed off of. Maybe push that in for the opportunity to sit 2 in the 4-foot.
Yeah.
You could even possibly advance that yellow in the top 8 and roll out just a touch, blocking any heavy hits onto the 2 shot rocks that will be sitting there.
I don't think it would matter how much of that yellow stone at the top 8, but it's coming back onto that red no matter where he hits it, I think.
Mm-hmm. No, you could hit that pretty thick and still end up pushing that red out of the 4-foot. He's probably got almost half of it from the hack. Maybe a touch more. Maybe a thick half. It is daring, though, if you ever miss that shot tight. You're in danger of giving up a 3 spot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very messy end, very deliberation-filled end from both teams. We're making up for lost time.
Yeah, we've seen this all weekend. Without the clock, they're really taking a long time to play a lot of ends.
Yeah. It's not what you want to see when you're a tired commentator calling a game at 9 o'clock local. But we power through for the love of curling either way. Korey Dropkin looks like he's going to look to push this yellow back onto the second shot red to sit 2. Soft shot, definitely delicate here. Don't want to pull the string on this at all. You trust your sweepers, and you hope this one turns out all right. There's a lot of good spots you could hit this target yellow in. But here is the last rock in the third end. Tied at 2 without hammer for Korey Dropkin. This one being swept by Mark Fenner. And here comes Howell for the curl now. Nope, back to Fenner. Just squeaks by that yellow, knocks it back onto the red, pushes it out of the 4-foot. And it is Dropkin sitting 2 with that yellow now covering the 2 shot rocks. That was a beautiful shot there by Korey Dropkin.
Yep. Excellent shot.
You know, we said that there was a lot of good ways to make that shot, but I think Korey Dropkin probably made it about as good as you could ask. There was a perfect way to make it, and that was just about it. So Steve's got to make something good to be able to even score 1 here. Looking at possibly throwing some heat at that one that Korey Dropkin just threw. Try and kill as many yellows as he can. The triple might be there.
It's going to be tough to remove that one that's top of the 4-foot.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's thinking of running it across the top of that stone, and then I don't know if that stone will go.
Well, you want to get almost as close to nose of the target one in the top 12 there as you can. You got to throw some weight at it as well and try and catch that top yellow pretty thin so that it does spin out. Hopefully scoring your 1 here. Looks like that's the call, and it looks like Steve's preparing to throw this one hard and heavy. This is a shot you might see a little more from Steve in his earlier years of his career. Made his first Brier appearance in 2007. But here is the final rock. Third end, Steve Laycock tied at 2 with the hammer. Trying to make a big weight hit to try and get away with a single.
If it hits nose, it'll be close. If it hits this next one right.
Wow.
No, not quite. I think it's one yellow.
Staying close, but it'll be a steal of 1 for Korey Dropkin. And Dropkin will take a 3-2 lead into the 4th end. Steve Laycock, after the steal, will retain hammer here at the 2023 Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown.
I've been farming on my own right for 40 years now, I think. It's a very wholesome enterprise. You have very, very busy periods when you have to go hard. So many of our windows are so tight that you just can't afford to miss a couple days of seeding.
When a producer places their trust in us, that when it's time for them to be able to make their living, we're going to be there. That's a tremendous responsibility that is not a one-day-a-year thing, right? In order to actually deliver on that, you have to build your processes and you have to build your team and you have to have a mindset of operational excellence, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And it's our job to make sure that they don't go wrong. Or if they do go wrong, that we can fix it before it affects our customer.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Light up your love for curling with our customizable neon LED lights from Letterlands. Choose your new neon mixed doubles partner or make a statement with a neon curling rock in your window. Also actual Letterlands. Use discount code WHOA for 15% off. Only at Letterlands.com.
Welcome back to the Innovation Credit Union iPlex in Swift Current, Saskatchewan. You're watching the first playoff draw of the 2023 Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown. It's Korey Dropkin holding a 3-2 lead over Steve Laycock. After 3 ends of play, it's Laycock with the hammer here as we play the 4th. Center guard thrown up by Dropkin, and Laycock, as he has been this game, elects to come right behind it. Slides a little bit deep on this one from Braden Grinheim.
Yeah, that's quite a bit deeper than I think Steve wanted it, that's for sure. Pretty sure he wanted that probably middle 8 foot, maybe biting for it the deepest.
Yeah, a bit of a miss there, but early in the end.
Early in the end, and the play being that far back in the rings won't get him into trouble.
I'd like to give a shout out, watching from home, is John Landsteiner, former Olympic gold medalist for Team USA, lead for Team Schuster. He's watching this game. We appreciate all our viewers on YouTube. We are currently up to 268 viewers on YouTube. I appreciate Evan in the chat correcting me on how to say Stupera. I'm going to say that for now. If I'm wrong, correct me again.
I was curious about that as well at the beginning of the game, and I saw him talking to his dad, and then I didn't go over and ask. So, or I'm assuming that was his dad.
You know what? Sometimes I don't really look at the names that hard, and then when I'm reading them on the stream, I see a name and I'm like, oh. I hope I say it right. So Stopera is what we will go with for now. Evan, if you feel the need, correct me again. I will happily try again. I'm not known for my stupendous English. Either way, this is Mark Fenner in the hack now. The second for this Dropkin team. Needs a big hole to get by that top yellow. They will just squeak by it by about 4 inches. And slide that just to bite the 4. Steve's looking at a couple yellows early in this one. And he'll elect for the run. This was a shot that Chris missed a little bit outside last end. Granted, it was on the intern side. We'll see how he pulls this one off. It's a little bit less weight for sure. Grinheim telling Steve it's a little bit down in weight. Bangs a little bit off nose. Is going to make contact with that yellow in the house. Can't remove it, but will push it into the open over there on the intern side.
It did look like he got a little inside on that one from where I'm sitting, but I'm not directly behind the sheet, so it's a little tough to tell, but he might have got that one moving a little bit.
Well, it was Braden Grinheim also saying that it was a bit light out of his hand, so that definitely wouldn't have helped either.
Yeah, adds to it.
I say it's good ice is unforgiving ice a lot of times. We say it over and over at slams.
Yeah, I think our ice has been excellent here all week. Jason Broughton and his crew do a great job, and the curlers were praising him. And it's been running pretty close to 15 seconds every game all weekend long.
Yeah, as somebody who has spent a fair amount of time at the Swift Current Curling Club, not being from Swift Current, it's been one of the more consistent rinks every time I do head there. One of the nicest to play on, which is good to hear, especially from a guy who's curled in a lot of small towns around Saskatchewan that might not have super professional ice crews. The Swift Current Curling Club has really made a great rink out of themselves the previous few years, specifically since this event was introduced. So it's Chris Heikert's second here in the fourth end. His second year playing on this Steve Laycock team. This is Grindheim on the sweep. A big add to this team in the offseason, I think, was Braden Grindheim sweeping. One of the best sweepers coming out of the junior ranks here in Saskatchewan last year when he graduated from juniors. And is a big addition to this Laycock team that desperately needed some youth on it, I believe. It was a good addition to bring in Graydon. Dropkin looks to be content coming right around these two yellow guards as well in the front. Again. Okay, I think I was told that I've been saying it right now. This is Andrew Stopera. He's coming a little bit hot, knock that red onto that shot rock yellow. It stays Korey Dropkin sitting one. I think that's the beauty of a broadcasted game with a live chat, is that I have no fear of getting anything wrong because someone will always correct me.
If you know
And
where
I
the chat
appreciate
is.
that. That's true.
Until now, I didn't know where it was, so I don't know if people like me or not. But
You've been living in blissful ignorance
yes.
until now. We've hit third stones now in the fourth end. This is Sean Meacham. It's been a bit of a tricky draw to spot for both teams. Tricky spot to draw, rather, for both teams. Gonna get around here,
They're
make
going for
contact with his top yellow. Just a touch and roll into the forefoot. About 3/4 on the button, and it'll be shot rock. Laycock sitting 2. Andrew Stapera will settle in the hack for his final rock of the fourth end.
Are they looking at a run double?
You'd think that's what the call is, judging by the ice. Stapera doesn't look very convinced of the call, though. He seemed a little bit hesitant to let go of that one.
Yeah, if he catches the one to the red to the left as we look at it from the front of the house, if he hits it first, I think the double's there.
Coming
almost
up
right
after
in, almost right in the crotch would be a little tick off the first red. I think they both go.
That's true. So here it is. Angle run double. Make it sound a little bit harder than maybe it is, but he's a little bit wide. Needs to curl on this one. He's going to miss it completely. Wow.
Does Steve take that away now?
You think he's going to hit and roll off it, and that
Yep.
seems to be the indication. Get rid of it. It's proved to be a little bit of a dangerous stone. And, you know, his two counters are both back T. So I think that's the real concern for Steve here, is that even without that, Dropkin can still get in there for shot, and pretty hard to take out when he gets there. So
I think he's doing a pretty soft weight here too, I believe.
It's something you like to see Steve doing. It's a lot more manageable that way, especially when you have a good sweeping team. It's a lot more manageable of a rock. Sean and Steve are both very experienced on the ice. You have no fear of any poor line call or anything. This one's going to miss completely, though. Knock that red back to 5th shot. And a tough miss from Sean Meacham there.
And I think the run triples there now. Unless it jams on the back one.
It might, but it's not. You wonder if it's worth it at this point. I'm not sure what the how tough this path has been to them. Really?
Yeah, even if
of course there's been a struggle drawing down here.
Even if he tries that run triple and makes it, Laycock does have still a pretty good chance at his two. Just drawing in.
Yeah, I'd almost rather just sit on top of that. You get on top of that red shot rock just on the back tee and the button there. You're sitting really pretty, but seems to be not something they're not very confident in at this point.
It's coming with some speed.
Yeah, this is going to be the angle run here. He's going to get rid of one, knock one back. It'll be Dropkin sitting 2 here, I believe now. Coming up after the 4th end break, we're going to take you around the rings, give you updates from all 6 games on the ice so far in this first playoff draw. The women's event, of course, has 10 playoff teams, so 4 of them are playing tonight to earn the right to get into the quarterfinals tomorrow morning. So here's Steve Laycock preparing for his first of the 4th end. He trails by 1, but does hold the hammer. Trying the draw again. Dropkin might not have believed in it, but Steve has some confidence coming down with his draw weight. Needs to curl a bit now. It's well by the top yellow guard. And they need to take it as far as it'll go. And it's not there for second shot either.
I don't know if that fudged a little bit on him or what, but it seemed like it almost fooled them. They're kind of watching it right up until you see that mixed championship logo, and then all of a sudden they jumped on it.
I think this path has been a little bit tough on both teams so far this end. I think you have to assume so with the hesitancy that teams have had drawing down that path so far in this end. And it looks like Dropkin's going to, you'd assume he'd take that draw again, try and get down to the face of his yellow shot rock to sit 3. But there is some discussion.
So while we have a chance here, shout out to the Curl Stadium. I think it's been in here a couple, maybe this is the 3rd year, and it's unbelievable. Chris has shown me some of the numbers, and it's something that people have a hard time believing. I know one of the teams had over 20,000 views of their game as it was going on.
Well, it also goes to help that there's some high-profile curling going down in Swift Current.
But it also helps the clubs too, as you can see by the ice with all the sponsors out there. You get that kind of viewing, and when you talk to sponsors like, Nutrien Ag and all of them, it's just something that the club can give back to them. For helping the club, they're getting all sorts of exposure.
You're 100% right on that.
I know we've got great support from S3 manufacturing company here in Swift Current. You see a branch of their company across the top of every sheet, and it shows up a lot on every screenshot. You see the S3 either brand work or something.
So this is Korey Dropkin electing against the draw. Is he trying to come through the...
I think he's just trying to block the draw path.
Okay. I was a bit lost for a second, but I'm back now. Yeah, that's a pretty solid job there by Korey. And Steve seems to be in a bit of trouble again.
I don't know if it'll bust hard enough with his out-turn draw around red or play a bump back. I'm not sure what he's going to look at here.
Well, the out-turn is probably what you're forced to do here. Either way.
I think it would draw in there. They haven't.
You can definitely get to at least for second shot, and that would at least be huge for Steve here. Can't give up another steal or two. Steve's looking at his run options.
If he can run it to the 2 yellows at the back and stick it, he would be shot.
Yes, he would. You're right. I'll go with that. You're always worried about a run that's that long. All the way from about a 1.5 guard to the back 4.
Margin of error of a 1/4 inch.
Yeah, your margin of error gets so much smaller when it's that long of a run. We talked about that heavily on the in the afternoon draw today.
Does look like he's going to give it a whirl, though.
So it's Steve Laycock needing another peach to avoid giving up a second straight steal. So here is Steve Laycock with his last rock in the 4th end. Down by 1 with the hammer. Looking for a long run back to get his single here and tie this one up at 3. Must be wide. Heikert's on it for curl. And not tremendously close there. It's going to be a steal of 2 for the team out of Duluth. Make that a 5-2 lead for Korey Dropkin. Steve Laycock will keep the hammer when we return for the 5th end on curlingzone.com.
I've got the bill.
Well, now I've got the tip.
Standard tip increased 2% this year.
That's why I keep you around. So, corn's looking great.
Well, our crop plan is working.
And we locked in that input financing at the perfect time.
Well, what do y'all think? Too blue? Not blue enough?
Try this.
Makes your eyes pop.
This could be our best yield yet.
And didn't we get this seed at a great financing rate?
Yeah, we did.
Iced tea?
Great idea.
Let's talk more about next year. I got some thoughts.
And I've got some numbers.
Nutrien Financial, financing that's in the field with you.
Welcome back to Swift Current, Saskatchewan. You're watching the World Curling Tour on curlingzone.com. 5th end is on tap between Steve Laycock and Korey Dropkin. It was a steal of 2 from the Dropkin team as they took a 5-2 lead, and it's been 5 unanswered points from the Americans, leading to a 3-point deficit for the hometown team. As we finished up recess there, the break between the 4th and 5th, we'll take a quick look around the rings at the 5 other games on the ice here in the opening playoff draw. Caitlin Schneider is taking on Michael Brunner in a quarterfinal game. It is currently 1-0 for Caitlin Schneider as they play the 4th. And Michael Brunner has the hammer over there. Nicholas Adine is taking on Mike McEwen. And it is a 3-2 lead for the Swedish team. Nicholas Edin playing the fourth. Mike McEwen has the hammer there. Sam Muybrook trails Yannick Schwaller 5-3. It was a 3-1 lead for the Muybrook team before Schwaller broke open with a 4 spot in the fourth. They head to the break 5-3. Of course, our feature sheet here is 5-2 Korey Dropkin at the break. Over in the women's games, Amber Holland is trailing Corey Hurleman by a score of 3-1. That is following the fourth end. Amber Holland will have hammer in the fifth. And the fastest game on the ice is Xenia Schwaller of Zurich, Switzerland, taking on Eunji Kim of Gyeongbo, Korea. They are knotted up at 3 after a deuce by the Schwaller team in the fifth end of play. Gim will have the hammer in 6, tied up at 3. And we're back to our feature game in the fifth end here. Korey Dropkin is left to sweep this raw. This is Mark Fenner throwing this one. It's going to stop just past the hog line there. High center guard, a tight one, and a red bunched up in between them as Korey Dropkin sits one just on top of the lid.
Hikert attempting to freeze on top of the one that's sitting on the T-line button.
Yeah, and this has been a consistent miss so far in the game for the Laycock team since the first end. And for a team this is their go-to, this is their bread and butter, when the opposition throws up a center guard, it was a bit surprising. They ended up going with the corners here now down 3. But Hiker just falling a touch short on that one, right in the middle of the 8-foot. As it looks like we've switched to Andrew Stopera calling the game. Have you seen any indication down there, Clayton, of what's going on with the Dropkin team?
How do you? Now I'm going to say his name wrong. Thanks. Believe it or he has been calling the game all the other games, and I to be perfectly honest, I wasn't watching that close if he's been calling it all the time or not.
I'm sure he hasn't. And I have my maybe let us know in the chat. Did they just swap to
This has been the format they've been on all week.
Okay, maybe I'm a touch blind. I thought I had seen Corey in the house most of the game, but maybe I'm crazy.
A little muffled?
Little bit, just a little bit. But I'll probably survive. Chris Heikert's second rock of the 5th end coming up here. Looking to make a little movement on that yellow that was just thrown by Mark Fenner. Maybe
Looks like
roll
he's,
under some cover over to the out-turn side, sorry.
it looks like he's really tight.
And he's going to take a big crash on that red up in front of the rings. Meacham doing all he can to roll it into a good spot, but not going to get that one on. Still about a foot out. And the pressure is on for the Laycock team. They've fallen behind quickly in this game.
Yeah, they need to get rid of the hammer with a crooked number.
Yeah, sometimes that's all it takes is just getting the monkey off your back and you get a little bit of your mojo going, but it seems a daunting task for Steve Laycock to get rid of that hammer as he's facing a lot of opposition stones again in this end, and a couple misses recently from Chris Heikert might make it a bit more difficult. Sean Meacham residing behind the rings. No doubt wants to talk over his first rock of this end. And these are all big ends for the Laycock team now, down 3. Not a lot of room for error. You need deuces and you need forces.
Well, a deuce right away here would make, definitely, it's definitely not game over by any stretch of the word.
No, and it's not right now either, but Dropkin sitting 2 now. A little bit of a touch up. You wonder if there's a shot at the triple
3?
there. You'd think that you could get the triple and roll under cover.
Mm-hmm.
Might risk a dead jam on that shot rock. But I think either way, it's a positive outcome for the Laycock team. Hit it with some weight, just a touch inside. And you should get 3 moving, if not 3 leaving. This is a big shot to change the complexion of this end. Sean Meacham's first in the 5th. As he looks to help get his team back into the game down by 3.
He loves these shots.
He's really close. Touches all 3, doesn't get the shot rock, and if anything, just touches it further buried.
His rock hanging around in the 12-foot's a big plus, though.
Mm-hmm. If anything, I think that curled a little more than he wanted to. I think I was worried with that shot about it being able to curl up to where it needed to be, but I think, if anything, Sean Meacham threw that a little bit too good and came a little bit too tight to the guard.
I forgot to look up at the TV monitor. I could have had a replay, but I was too slow in thinking. And had it not come up as much, he wouldn't have hung around. So, but then he might have been rid of all the one that's sitting on the button now.
That's true. Here's Stapera with his last rock here in the 5th end. I'm going to make contact with this red here. He will, and roll a little bit further than he'd want to. All the way to the back 12. Not quite out of the rings. Sitting there for 3rd shot.
Laycock should have a play on red-yellow now, I believe.
I think he's got enough of that target red there to put it on the top lid and kill that yellow shot rock, and that would be a huge plus for his team. There's a lot of protection on that side of the sheet there.
And he's throwing that weight too. If it does overcurl on him and he rubs yellow, he'll still have another red one on the rings.
That's true.
And open up the center for him.
That's what you really like to see, his teams throwing manageable weight. I know everybody likes to see the hard and heavy ones that come down in about 5.5 seconds. But sometimes it's the hack waiters and the board weights that are the most impressive shots, where it's a real team shot with the throw from the thrower, the communication from the skip, and the sweep from the sweepers. Those are the real team shots that you like to see.
Chris was having a discussion with Sean in the hack here, and I don't know if they're going to change a shot or what he liked better, but seems like the team likes it too. Must be throwing a little more weight.
Up to 275 viewers on YouTube. Thanks for being here with us. We're at 10:33 p.m. local time here in Swift Current. Curling after dark, if you will. So it's the soft weight run back, if you will, from Sean Meacham. Hoping to end up shot rock after the end of this. Heikert and Grindheim are on it early. Try and keep it off this yellow guard at the top, and he's going to kiss it. And even if he had made it past that one, he would have wrecked on the other one, and he'll roll straight out after that. That was a bit of an opening for the Laycock team there, and that miss is a little bit indicative of how this game has been going for the team.
Yeah, I don't know if there was a misunderstanding on weight there or what, but you know that the weight he threw was almost for the ice that Steve Laycock had given him for the first option.
Yeah, even though he just didn't catch much of that initial one, like I said, you would have caught the tight guard by about half the rock, if not more. And not tremendously close on that one from Sean Meacham. And Dropkin once again has the opportunity to put some tremendous pressure on this Laycock team.
So as a little filler here, I still want to like to take a shout out to Justin Senecar. He's the regional manager here for our title sponsor, Nutrien Ag Products. Naturally, without sponsors like that, we couldn't have events like this.
And I have no problem shouting out Nutrien. They did a large part in sponsoring my junior career. I was always sporting Nutrien on the back of my uniforms.
Tim Tisdale was also here earlier. He's with Nutrien Ag Solutions as well, and he'd be the one up the ladder from Justin, I believe. So maybe after the game they can show me their appreciation for us.
Done a lot for sport around these communities, specifically curling.
Yeah, it wasn't many years ago when you looked around our curling rink. You can't see the whole rink from where you are, but there wasn't a lot of signs on the wall, and now we're running out of room.
It's a beautiful rink to play on, beautiful rink to view, to watch. You got the TVs upstairs to catch all angles of the ice. As this hit and roll is made by Korey Dropkin, going to nudge that shot rock over and sit directly behind that red in the top 8. A little bit of a discussion there. You wonder if somebody dropped something on the ice there. I didn't see exactly what happened.
Well, I thought they almost tapped the red rock a bit, so maybe it got broomed after contact or something, and
Okay.
looks like it can be promoted to the yellow on the behind the tee line. I don't know if you can catch the first yellow or not, but they think maybe they can.
Might be another shot where they're just looking to, you know, maybe throw some weight at something just as tight to the guard as you can. And it's been those kind of shots that have been the downfall of the Laycock team, at least this end. I'm not sure you can catch enough of that red to get the top yellow.
I don't think the top one, but for a setup, he could have one, you know, onto the back yellow and maybe one in position to do something with on his last.
Sure. Well, a shot like that would also open up that shot rock yellow as well, depending on what Korey Dropkin does with his last stone.
Yeah, if Stephen put this in the right spot, you're right. With Korey Dropkin, he'll have a decision whether he's going to try and remove red and roll over on top to guard the one that will be open, or if he tries to guard and leave Steve the run in.
A lot of American viewers on YouTube today. Hello from up north. Thanks for joining us. Pleasure to welcome you inside the Swift Current Curling Club here, as Steve Laycock delivers his first to the fifth end. Late curl from Braden Grinheim. And he's going to catch just enough of that target red to sit for second shot. Looked like he might have hit that a bunch too thin.
Yeah, I would think so. He was hoping to save his shooter somewhere around just above the tee line, I would think.
And Korey Dropkin will be content to cover up that shot rock yellow. He's not too concerned about scoring a ton more, but preventing the Laycock team from scoring a bundle is as big of a victory at this point in the game. Entering the back half here and up by 3, scoring 5 unanswered.
And potentially leaving Steve with another one of those long corner runbacks.
Yeah, you can imagine he's eyeing something up now. So here's Korey Dropkin with his last rock in the fifth end, up by 3 without hammer. Looking to cover up this shot rock yellow with a tight guard. Holding out for a chance of his third straight stolen end. It's coming in a bit deeper than they would have liked. It's going to sit right on top of that shot rock. Possibly for second shot, I believe. What do you think, Clayton? Is that yellow too?
It's close. I can let you know a little better when my overhead TV shot. I would think so, but it's not by much.
And it's going to be another angle run for the Steve Laycock team. They've got a lot they can catch here. There's a lot of rocks buried in that 4-foot. If he's close, he's going to hit something. But a long shot here.
He can even glance off his own.
That's true. So here it is, Steve Laycock. Last rock, fifth end, with the hammer, down by 3. looking to make some yellows go away and sit in the forefoot for a point here. Maybe two if he's lucky. And he'll make it for the single. He didn't glance off his own, but he did promote his own. 4-shot rock. It'll be a single for Steve Laycock. Make it 5-3 after 5 ends of play. Korey Dropkin from Duluth, Minnesota will have the hammer when we return, up by 2.
Light up your love for curling with our customizable neon LED lights from Letterlands. Choose your new neon mixed doubles partner or make a statement with a neon curling rock in your window. Also actual Letterlands. Use discount code WHOA for 15% off. Only at Letterlands.com.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Swift Current is great because everybody that we do business with, we know on some sort of personal level.
What I love about Swift Current is the vibrant arts and culture community.
I really like Swift Current. We are not a big city, but the size of the city is really good and we have everything.
Swift Current is a great sports town, great teams and great fans.
People say, good morning, hi, how are you, even though we don't know each other.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Welcome back inside the Innovation Credit Union iPlex in Swift Current, Saskatchewan. You're watching the World Curling Tour on curlingzone.com. It was a single for Steve Laycock to bring this game back within 2, but he did give up the hammer to do it. It's Korey Dropkin leading 5-3 as we play the 6th in this quarterfinal matchup. And there's double centers put up by the Steve Laycock team, not specifically where you'd like them, but they're there nonetheless. And cover has played an important part in the multiple steals, followed by a force by Korey Dropkin in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th ends.
Yeah, it didn't seem like the hammer was working well for Steve, so maybe getting rid of it, he can junk things up and have things go in his favor, but he's going to have to, or his team's going to have to make some shots to get him back into the steal position.
For sure. This is the lead Thomas Howell with his final rock here in the 6th.
I don't think Steve's in panic mode yet, but they really can't let Korey score anymore either.
No, I mean, he knows it's in front of him. You probably need a steal at this point in the game, no matter what. Whether it's this end or in the 8th, you're going to need a steal. It's not a blowout by any means, but you're going to need some solid ends here, and that one's going to slide just to the back button from Chris Heichert. And the Dropkin team will be content to start peeling here now. Much on the defensive at this point in the game. This is the American 2nd, Mark Fenner.
Stopper's been wedding, or however you say it, and excuse me if I said it wrong, but he's been wearing a bunny hug that covered up his name. Maybe that's what had you confused at the beginning.
That's what I'll blame it on, at least.
And the pronunciation. Couldn't see it all.
I think I've been saying it right now. I think we're good with Stapera. I think all the Americans in the chat will now be obligated to correct Clayton on his pronunciation of Andrew's last name.
I have trouble saying my own name sometimes.
Chris Heiker trying to replace the center guard here.
Give a shout out to the city of Swift Current too. You were talking before you've been here. It's a wonderful facility, and naturally the city was hugely involved in that. And over history, many years ago, relationship with the city was not at its best. But I think right now I don't know how we could get our relationship to be much better.
And that's wonderful to hear. Swift Current was always one of my favorite cities to travel to and play in when I was playing on the road. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a thing over there, but it always seemed to have the best weather in the province, in a part of the world where the weather always seems to be miserable. It seemed it would be hailstorms back at home, and I'd make the 3-hour trip to Swift Current, and it was sunny and beautiful over there.
Apparently, we should have you visit a lot more.
You guys got a golf course over there, so it's not out of the question.
Yeah, 2. Chinook and Elmwood.
I'm playing a bit of an employee for the Swift Current Tourism Board here.
Oh.
Trying to make a case. All the Americans down there, just a couple hours north of the North Dakota border.
I just had the pro in here from the Elmwood Golf Course. Maybe I can get you some passes.
Oof.
Back to the game.
They're just trying to replace the center guard again, maybe a bit tighter than they were before. Leave it a touch off the center line on the intern side. This is Andrew Stapera now. And he'll make the peel, no problem. Bit of a back and forth, run-of-the-mill end. Nothing crazy happening yet until one of the teams decides to budge. We're playing a bit of cat and mouse here. And Steve Laycock will make the first move. Call is to corner freeze this top yellow, just sitting in the 8-foot there. Sean Meacham's first. It should be his second, sorry. Excuse me. And the audible will end up just being the center guard again.
Dropkin's not going to take the bait. He's going to peel.
Let the game come to you at this point if you're Dropkin.
He shook his head no. Korey had shook his head no just before they delivered the stone, so I don't know if this team asked him if we should be going around, and he just said the big no to peel and to peel. I'm guessing that's what was going on in it.
Well, Stapera was content to take what Korey gave him. Rebecca says, I've heard about miserable coldness in Saskatchewan. Not right now. It's been a beautiful December in the province of Saskatchewan this year.
Usually they say, but it's a dry cold. Whatever that means.
I don't know. It's been pretty crazy. Probably the warmest winter of my life. I'm only 22 years old. But everyone I talk to seems to bring up some year, either in the 80s or 90s, which was the last year they think it was this warm.
Yeah, it's definitely been warm.
Not quite Florida, but definitely a lot nicer than it normally is up here. Nice draw made by Steve Laycock, excuse me. Gets right on top for shot rock. And it is Laycock sitting 2, I believe.
Yep, I think so.
Unanimous there.
Without question.
And it's a full team discussion here from Korey Dropkin. They do have the hammer here in the 6th end.
I don't think the Laycock's rock that he just put there is going very far.
No, it was a pretty well-placed rock. They are going to be content to run this yellow fourth shot, back into the pile. Not a ton of bad that can happen to you here. Unless you hit this way thinner than you try to.
She's probably going to lose both yellows, but a blank isn't bad for Dropkin either.
So here it is. First rock here in the 6th end for Korey Dropkin of Duluth, Minnesota.
Oh, he didn't.
And he'll get a red to go.
Lost the shooter, though.
Sit just diagonal from that shot rock red. And his yellow will stick around in the back 4. It's Laycock still sitting 1, but Dropkin 2 and 3.
If the score was closer, you'd probably see a just off nose hit and get rid of both yellows, but I don't think Laycock's going to do that with the score the way it is.
It's also a bit tricky. It's not generally lined up perfect for that. You might spin your red out to the outturn side and might lose it. Steve will want to make a play on this second shot yellow, though. Either way.
It's going to be pretty hard for Steve not to leave Dropkin a shot to get 1 at least.
That's true.
Even if he corner freezes on the front, Korey just has to hit it on the open side.
And at that point, giving up any points here is really either conceding that you need almost back-to-back steals to get yourself a win here, or a score of more than 2, which have both been both are kind of problem areas.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier.
This game.
You mentioned it earlier. Laycock's average points per game was up around that 7 or 8, and they're quite a ways from there right now.
Just below 9. They're at 8.9 points per game, I believe. 8.92. But they haven't been quite hitting that mark today.
Yeah. 3 and a 4-ender, and we're there.
That's true. Might be a big ask at this point in the game, but
Might be.
Crazier things have happened. Steve Laycock's first. Or his second, sorry. And leaves it in a spot where that might be a double for 3 for Korey Dropkin.
Yeah, he can. I don't even think he has to get cute. Hit a half a stone, roll out.
I don't think you even worry about this being a 3. I think a deuce really puts a stranglehold on this game either way. You might just be content making it and rolling out if that's what gets the job done. We'll see where it ends up for Korey Dropkin. So here it is. Last rock, 6th end for the skip from Duluth, Minnesota. Korey Dropkin looking to make 2 reds go away and hit a score of multiple here. It's Fenner on the sweep early. He makes 2 go away, loses his shooter, but it will be a deuce for the Dropkin rink. And a
possibly some
7-3
discussion.
lead. Some discussion from the Laycock team, but it seems that
Or
they will play on.
Yeah, or hesitation, maybe not discussion.
A little bit, but either way, a 7-3 lead for the Dropkin team. And we will return shortly for the 7th end of play.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Well, what do y'all think? Too blue? Not blue enough?
Try this.
Makes your eyes pop.
This could be our best yield yet.
And didn't we get this seed at a great financing rate?
Yeah, we did.
Iced tea?
Great idea.
Let's talk more about next year. I got some thoughts.
And I've got some numbers.
Nutrien Financial, financing that's in the field with you.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Welcome back to Swift Current, Saskatchewan. You're watching the World Curling Tour on curlingzone.com. And it's the first playoff draw of the Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown. We're seeing a bit of a discussion. It looks like whether this center guard is touching the center line or not. And unlike a biter, you can't really measure that. There's no stick to measure that for sure.
But I thought, and I'm not a pro at it by any chance, but I thought the rules would say clearly, and so if they can't tell, then it's not, then it must be touching. Is my own personal view on it.
We'll see. I've never actually played at any level myself with the no-tick rule.
Well,
Taking a bit of a step back from the competitive game myself.
I think it would be similar to the hog line.
Either way, they're gonna nick their own yellow off the center line, split them both into the rings. And early, it is Dropkin sitting 2. The rings split. Again, it was a deuce for Korey Dropkin. In the 6th end, no handshakes yet in any game on the ice so far. We still got a full sheet. And then here comes the second center guard. And this one is definitely not going to touch the center line. But Stopera will be content to just come around it anyway. Hello to 215 viewers on YouTube. Kate, the score is 7-3. Wonderful to see all the American fans watching this game here. I hope you're enjoying it, and we assume you are with the way that Korey Dropkin's been playing this evening. They're going to come right around those 2 reds. Sit just full 4, maybe a nibble of the button. And Steve Laycock will try and come right on top of it. It was an opening deuce for the Laycock team, but they've been outscored 6-1 since the first end. And now trail this one. Sorry, 7-1, sorry. And now trail this one 7-3. And this draw from Chris Eichert is going to come right down to that yellow shot rock. Bumps it maybe a couple inches. Nothing too worrisome, as the Dropkin team will now commence peeling. And this can be a real put-away end for the Dropkin team if they're able to hold Steve Laycock from scoring his deuce. A steal probably puts it away. A force, you almost think about it as well. The steal of 3 is pretty far out of the question for any team in this field.
They were talking a bit earlier about what kind of mix would end up in the final 8, and they were a little worried it would get off balance, but I just took a quick look at it. We've got 4 Canadian teams, 2 from Saskatchewan, 1 from BC, and 1 from Manitoba. And then we got 2 from Switzerland, 1 from Scotland, and 1 from US. So we've spread it out pretty good.
Sweden and the US, I think. Nicholas Adine sits in the playoffs. I don't believe there were any Scottish teams on the men's side, unless I am mistaken.
It was another performance by Adine with 3 curlers for most of the week.
Yeah, we were talking about that on Wednesday night, calling the Fujisawa game. Speaking on a couple teams that have done exceptionally well playing with 3 teams, Fujisawa obviously being one of them. And Nicholas Adine came up in that conversation, obviously.
And it doesn't seem to matter which one of them's missing.
No, they're a very well-rounded team. And that's a team that sort of just eats up all of the development around Swedish curling. You know, you talk about why there hasn't been a team to really challenge Nicholas Edin for so long. It's because there have been young teams coming up through Sweden, and Nicholas Edin has basically absorbed them. Oscar Eriksson was one of those teams that was thought at the time maybe to challenge Nicholas Edin when he gets out of the junior ranks, and instead of that, he decided to join Nicholas Edin.
So we have a final on sheet 1. Hulaman has defeated Holland.
And that will spell the end of the week for Amber Holland. Had the pleasure of calling her final round robin game against Sarah Anderson of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Sarah Anderson played alongside Korey Dropkin at the 2012 Winter Youth Olympics. As Team USA, no doubt. Steve Laycock's going to go back line here, try and... Not sure where he's looking to put this one specifically. It looked like he had gestured back 8, back 12 weight to Sean Meacham. We'll see where this one ends up. And it's Grinheim on it early. He's going to have sliding right between those two there, all the way to the back 12 and maybe through, and it will slide all the way through the rings. And Korey Dropkin can go ahead and hit that lone red in the rings there, and you think Steve Laycock's night may be coming to a close shortly.
He needs to hide the rest of his stones.
This is Andrew Stopera. On it early for Curl. Getting by that red just above the rings and sits right on top of where that red shot rock was. Dropkin sitting 3 as Sean Meacham's about to throw his last rock of the 7th end. Trailing by 4. Looks like they need to go on this one a bit for weight. They'll freeze right on top though. Nice throw by Sean Meacham. Trying to create something for his team, and Dropkin is going to try and just pick this off sideways, I believe, Clayton.
Yeah. He's going to make contact with something, even if he hits, even if he hits the higher one, it's going to open up and he can blast away.
Dropkin not terribly concerned about having rocks in the rings. Might be worse for Dropkin to maybe just nudge this yellow shot rock into the back of the house. He might be better off just hitting a thick quarter of this red and losing his back one as well. If you ever wonder what the thought is there. He's looking like he's a little thin on it. He'll pick it right off the face. Pretty surgical there from Korey Dropkin. And it's the American sitting 3 once again, as we're into skip stones here in the 7th end. And Steve Laycock will look to come on the wide in-turn draw around that red guard, just short of the rings.
Probably looking at back 4, maybe a little deeper.
Yeah, make this short run a little bit tougher on Korey Dropkin. It is there no matter where you put this for shot rock, really. And there's Sean Meacham motioning where he'd like that rock.
Yeah, Steve is actually calling instructions from the other end, so I think it was Steve's idea of thinking about that, but looks like they're going back to the original. More ice, though, so maybe he is going to try to park it right beside the yellow. It's up top 4 foot.
So Steve's first shot in the 7th end. He's trailing by 4, trying to score at least a deuce here to keep himself alive in this game. Eichert and Grindham hit it now, and they'll fall just even with the yellow shot rock. It will still be Korey Dropkin sitting the 1. He's going to throw the out-turn draw. Maybe try to promote this yellow just a touch.
I believe so, yeah.
Just to the button, it looks like, is the call by Stapera.
Don't know if you can see it, but when they're sitting in the hack, there's also a RBC Wealth Management logo there. They fed everybody a whole bunch of pizza and live band last night. Compliments of RBC Dominion.
Beautiful. He'll nudge that yellow shot rock forward and roll over to the 4 foot, just maybe a ½ inch outside the 4 foot, but it's good enough to sit 2. And you think Steve's going to take on this thin double for 2. You'd think that's the call. He was hoping all in for a shot for 2, and there it is.
That's thin.
Yeah, it's extremely thin.
Then does the top one even go?
You do wonder if it just rubs off the back of that 3rd shot red and sticks around in the 4 foot. You got to be thinking Steve's throwing some weight at this.
And you have to try it.
Absolutely. So here it is. Steve Laycock throwing his final rock in the 7th with hammer. He trails by 4, trying to get his team back into the game here with a thin double. Here it comes. Greenheim on the sweep now. Off and on. Starting to curl now. He's going to make the double, but roll his shooter out of play. And it'll only be a single for Steve Laycock. And that's handshakes from sheet number 2. Korey Dropkin will book his ticket to the semifinal tomorrow. And Steve Laycock will finish with a quarterfinal exit here at their hometown event at the Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown. Make the final. 7-4. Korey Dropkin of Duluth, Minnesota picks up the win. We will be back with you covering the quarterfinals at 9 a.m. Until then, thanks for coming out and watching. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you again next time.
Thanks, Josh.
we feed the world with Nutrien, and a large portion of what our job is to get fertilizer out with the carriers so they can get directed to the farms or to the different retail locations. We know that if we don't have the answer to something, we're not afraid to reach out because we have support from everyone. We've got a really good team behind us.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.